Chapter 17, From Employee to Ecosystem Builder. The core lesson of Chapter 17 is that mature leadership shifts from personal success to systemic impact. This chapter explores the evolution from role-based contribution within an organization to system building. It introduces the concept of ecosystem leadership, where professionals design pathways, build partnerships, and strengthen institutions so that success becomes scalable and sustainable. There comes a point in many professional journeys when doing the work well is no longer enough. Roles are executed competently. Expectations are met. Experience accumulates. Yet an unsettling question begins to surface. Is this the fullest expression of my contribution? For some, the answer leads upward towards larger titles and broader authority. For others, it leads outward towards designing systems that outlast any single role. This chapter is about that outward turn, the shift from employee to ecosystem builder. For some, the answer leads upwards towards larger titles and broader authority. We have come to a pivotal point in the book. What I would tell my younger self. I would tell my younger self, as I'm telling you, be patient. Protect your integrity. Learn continuously. Be a lifelong learner. Think long term. Success gained too quickly often costs too much later on. The core lesson from this chapter is wisdom shortens learning curves when it is shared generously. This chapter is written as a reflective letter. It distills practical guidance for emerging professionals, existing executives, and future leaders, addressing ambition, patience, reputation, mentorship, and purpose. It offers reassurance without lowering standards and clarity without cynicism. If I could speak to my younger self, standing hopeful, ambitious, and eager at the threshold of my professional life, I would not offer a list of instructions. I would offer perspective. Because the most important lessons are not about how to get ahead quickly, but about how to start whole, complete, while building a life of purpose and contribution. This chapter is written for every graduate, every executive, every future leader, every emerging professional who is talented, driven, but perhaps still uncertain. Your degree opens doors, but it is your behavior that determines how long those doors remain open. Despite its challenges, the world of work still needs thoughtful, ethical, prepared professionals. You are needed. Your contribution matters. Your journey does not have to mirror anyone else's. Be patient with yourself. Be disciplined in your growth. Be generous in your learning and in sharing knowledge. And remember, success is not a destination, it is a practice. Chapter 19, Lessons Learned, Wisdom from the Long Journey. The core lesson in Chapter 19 is that professional mastery requires continuous learning, discipline, and grace. This summary chapter consolidates key professional competencies: lifelong learning, navigating pressure, protocol and etiquette, public speaking, and professionalism. It functions as a practical reference point for readers seeking to apply the book's insights in daily practice. Every career journey, when honestly examined, leaves behind a trail of lessons, some hard-earned, some quietly observed, others generously taught by mentors, institutions, and even difficult seasons. One thing you will find in reading this book is you will feel as if you are being mentored as you go through each page. So I want to share with you wisdom for the long journey. Legacy is not built in moments. It is built in patterns. This chapter is not about individual roles or institutions, but about the accumulated wisdom that emerges when a professional journey is viewed in its entirety. It draws together lessons that transcend sectors, job titles, and seasons. Lessons that remain relevant whether one is just beginning or preparing to hand over the baton. These are not shortcuts, they are principles. Lifelong learning is not optional, it is strategic. The most resilient professionals are not those who specialize narrowly and remain static, but those who commit to continuous learning across disciplines. Some of you may already be familiar with KPIs, key performance indicators, and stretch goals. These are used to manage performance, but I highly recommend that you manage performance without losing yourself. Ambitious, high-performing organizations set ambitious targets, stretch goals, and demanding KPIs. These are realities of the workplace, not threats. When you approach this with clarity and discipline, you see them as opportunities for growth. I also highly recommend that you learn to navigate office politics with emotional intelligence and grace. Office politics is an unavoidable reality of organizational life. Office politics arise where people, power, and priorities intersect. Navigating them well does not require manipulation. It requires awareness, emotional intelligence, and principled conduct. Let's discuss some core principles. Observation is the first skill. Understanding informal networks, decision-making patterns, and unspoken norms within the organization will allow you as a professional to act with wisdom rather than on impulse. So observe before you engage. Listen before you speak. Try to understand the power structures without obsessing over them. Influence is built quietly and consistently through reliability, respect, and alignment with organizational values. True professionalism is demonstrated not by avoiding difficulty, but by engaging it with calm, clarity, and grace. Emotional intelligence will allow you to navigate some stormy waters within the organization. Let's look at emotional intelligence in practice. Manage your reactions, not just your responses. Do not vent publicly. Avoid gossip. It always circulates back. Demonstrate grace under pressure. This is not being passive or weak. It is strategic self-mastery. Let's talk a little bit about protocol and etiquette. The invisible language of professionalism. Protocol and etiquette are often underestimated, yet they remain powerful indicators of professionalism. When I speak of protocol, I'm speaking of established procedures governing formal interactions. When I speak of etiquette, I'm speaking of socially accepted standards of courteous behavior. Key areas of application: professional communication, your tone, clarity, understanding the use of titles, email etiquette, virtual meeting conduct, etc. In meetings, governance and decision making, understanding procedures, agenda discipline, respectful debate, for dining and events, being culturally aware, being culturally sensitive, understanding appropriate conduct, professional presentation, and behaviors that enhance your image as well as that of the organization that you represent. So in the book, I write about participation etiquette, email etiquette, technology etiquette, events etiquette, dining etiquette, and I go into granular details explaining to you even how to use your cutlery and to read the table. Ordering etiquette, napkin etiquette, reading the table setting and meal structure, knowing when to order, what to order. I then take you into becoming an effective public speaker. Public speaking is not a talent reserved for a few. It is a trainable skill and a powerful leadership tool. Public speaking remains one of the most valuable leadership competencies. Effective speakers are not defined by charisma alone, but by preparation and intentionality. Some core elements of effective public speaking that I address in the book are confidence. This is built through preparation and practice. Preparation, knowing your audience, purpose and message. Language mastery, command of the language. Grammar, diction, elocution, clarity. Presence, your posture, eye contact, controlled movement. Messaging, structuring your message, and impact, authentic connections with your audience. I also touch briefly on the TEDx style and Toastmaster style of public speaking. Let's look at professionalism as a long-term strategy. Across decades, sectors, and roles, one lesson stands firm. Professionalism compounds. It builds trust. It protects reputation. And it creates opportunity, often quietly, often unexpectedly, but it opens doors for you. Professionalism shows up in how you enter spaces, how you perform within those spaces, and how you exit those spaces. It is remembered long after titles fade. These lessons are not meant to overwhelm you. They are meant to equip you. Whether you are a senior executive, a C-suite executive, a head of department, a middle manager, a graduate stepping into your first role, a professional recalibrating mid-career, or a leader shaping systems and people, the invitation remains the same. By now, you may already have purchased your copy of Lessons from My Journey, Reflections on Leadership, Professionalism, and Building Enduring Impact. Our next summary is our final chapter of the book, Chapter 20. Stay tuned.